Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by his exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So this is important because Krishna is considered a great personality, and therefore Krishna himself has to follow certain things without thinking, okay, do I need to follow these basic activities that are done on a day-to-day basis? So let's do this. We have done this before, but let's do it again. Yad yad acharati shreshtas
Yadya Shreshtas
tat tad eva taro janaham
Tad Ebataru Janaha
sayat pramanam kurute
Saya Pranamanam Kunte
lokastat anuvartate.
Lokastaduna Vartate.
Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Okay, Aryan, please read the purport.
People in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya, or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra, scripture, to teach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scriptures. The revealed scriptures like Manu Samhita and similar others are considered the standard books to be followed by human society. Thus, the leader's teaching should be based on the principles of such standard shastras. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father, and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes.
So key points: leader cannot teach public to stop smoking if he himself smokes, for example. The leader's teaching should be based on principles of Shastras. So not in his own mind, but whatever the scriptures say. So who are considered leaders? The king, the executive head of a state, father for the children, and the school teacher for the students. So these people should always have high standards. Otherwise, the entire population will have low standards. So in this case, Kṛṣṇa is not only a king, not only an executive head of the state, but is also a teacher. He is teaching Arjuna the principles. So he's saying, I follow these basic things. Although I don't have any duties, I follow all these instructions from the scriptures. And he's also above the king, right? He's the supreme personality, but he still doesn't deviate from any of the standards that are important or that are noted in the scriptures. Name parthasti kartavyam.
Name parthasti kartavyam.
Trishu lokeshu kinchanam.
Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana.
Nanavapatvam avaptavyam.
Nanavaptavyam.
Varta eva cha karmani. O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems. Name parthasti kartavyam. No kartavyam, no duties for Krishna. Trishu lokeshu. In all the three words, there are no duties for Krishna. Because he is the Supreme Lord. But still, he does is karmani. Varta eva cha karmani. Prescribed duty. Like he used to wake up at 2:30 in the morning. He used to do Sandhya Vandanam. He used to basically, after taking bath, sit down and meditate, take care of his wives, 16,108, take care of his kids, 16,108 into 10. He had 10 kids from each one of his wife. That's what it said. So practically in the Dwaraka town, most of the people were his only family members. He was doing his, family duties, kingly duties, every possible duty, although he doesn't have any duties. Why? To teach the common men. Okay, so Srijana, please read the purport, hear the English.
The Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers, and he is the greatest of all the diverse planetary leaders. Everyone is under his control. All entities are delegated with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. He is also worshipable by all demigods and is the supreme director of all directors. Therefore, he is transcendental to all kinds of material leaders and controllers and is worshipable by all. There is no one greater than him, and he is supreme cause of all causes. He does not possess a bodily form like that of an ordinary living entity. There is no difference between his body and his soul. He is absolute. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other sense. Therefore, no one is greater than him or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence. Since everything is in full opulence in the personality of Godhead and is existing in full truth, there is no duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to perform. One who must receive the results of work has some designated duty, but one who has nothing to achieve within the three planetary systems certainly has no duty. And yet, Lord Krishna is engaged on the battlefield of Kurukshetra as the leader of the Kshatriyas because the Kshatriyas are duty bound to give protection to the distressed. Although he is above all the regulations of the revealed scriptures, he does not do anything that violates the revealed scriptures.
So Krishna is the person who gave us the revealed scriptures. So he's above the regulations. He's the author. However, he does not violate the scriptures. And again, Srila Prabhupada gives various qualities. There's no one greater than him or equal to him. Everybody is less than him. His potencies, or also means powers, are multifarious, multidimensional. And his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence because power is higher than the individual souls. He's able to do a whole set of activities that we cannot do. And despite all of that, he still follows his duties. He does not violate the scriptures. So why is Krishna saying all this? To basically explain to Arjuna that one has to perform their duty. He's saying, if I don't perform, there'll be challenges. Therefore, I perform. And therefore, by extension, Arjuna, you should also perform your duty as described by me. Krishna is the author of all of this, right? And basically, all the Vedas have come from Hayagriva, the nostril of Brahma. So all this information has been given to Brahma by Krishna himself. Yadi hi aham na varteyam.
Yadi ham
Navarteyam
Jatu karmani atandritah.
Jatu karmani atandritaha
Manavartamanu vartante.
Mama vartamanu vartante
Manushyaha partha sarvasaha.
Manushyaha partha sarvasah.
For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. He's saying, if I don't follow, other people will copy me. They will also not follow. Therefore, I should follow. That is Krishna's point. In order to keep the balance of social tranquility, their traditional family usage meant for every civilized man. Although such rules and regulations are for conditioned souls and not Lord Krishna, because he descended to establish the principles of religion, he followed the prescribed rules. Otherwise, common men would follow in his footsteps because he is the greatest authority. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home and out of home as required of a householder. So he was following all duties.
Wait, I got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So when it talks about like duties, right, and everything, obviously, I mean, like in real, like today, like in today's society, like we have like obviously like people who are students, family members, like, so it's like according to Shastra, is it right that you should so if I got this right, you should do all your duties. That's like not like but not be attached to it. In the sense, like, for example, like me, like, would you say that, like, obviously, like, since, is it the same, like, if I'm a son, right, to take care of the mother, is that like something?
Yeah, so in general, yes, but that is the instruction of chapter 3. We are still in chapter 3, remember that. By the time you come to chapter 9, 10, 11, especially 9, 10, 11, 12, those 4 chapters, then Krishna talks about Bhakti Yoga.
Oh, okay.
It's Karma Yoga. So he's saying, okay, you have to do your duty. But then by the time you come to Bhakti Yoga, he says, okay, in Bhakti, then some of the karma aspects or principles can be overcome.
Okay.
And if you go to Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Savai Pumsha Pharo Dharma Yato Bhaktir Adopsaje Yayatma Suprasidati Ahaituki Apratihata Yayatma Suprasidati. So if a devotion to the Lord is ahaituki, causeless, and apratihata, uninterrupted, that is pleasing to the heart of a devotee. And at that point, we are not talking on the karma platform.
Okay.
Instead of being like an animal, at least we should come to the karma platform. But better than karma platform is jnana platform, which is chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 5 is the Krishna karma. Chapter 6 is the dhyana, the meditation. Then chapter 7 is art of how to basically die. Chapter 7 and 8, they will talk about how what is our consciousness at the state. And then from there on, switch gears and get into bhakti, which is devotion to the Lord. So once we do devotion, I mean, devotion already has all these as subtopics, karma, jnana, right? The previous chapters are already embedded in there. It's not like devotion is just dry. No, there's karma in there, there is jnana in there, but the superiority of bhakti is shown in that devotional aspect.
Right. Okay.
So for now, this is the topic. But if you are looking for ultimate, what does Krishna say? 18 chapter 66, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Yes, you have all these duties, various dharmas, but just give them up, he says.
Right.
Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. To me, you surrender, he says.
Yeah.
Right? So Once you come to that platform, then yeah, what is the duty of a mother? What is the duty of a husband? What is the duty of a wife? You practically slowly give them all up and you operate on the soul platform.
Right.
So for now, yes, you have to do the duties. But if you're looking for the final answer, like, you have seen Mahasaya Prabhu, he has, studied, his parents spent so much on his education, but then is he earning a single dollar? No, he's become a brahmachari and he's distributing Bhagavad Gita books.
Yeah.
And one may say, "Arey, you are so highly educated. Why are you wasting your education? You can earn $100,000 a year." He says, I don't care. I am operating on the soul platform. I just want to please my Guru and the Supreme Lord Krishna. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
That may sound like arrogance, right? Some people may say, oh, look at how careless he is. He's a societal misfit. Somebody may say like that.
Right.
But to fit in society is not our goal in life.
Yeah.
To please the Supreme Lord is our goal in life.
Mm.
So society may come and curse at you. That's okay. But especially if your mom herself wants you to be a devotee, then there is no challenge, right?
Yeah.
So because your mom is also a devotee, she understands the principles of devotion. And therefore she
Yeah.
will say, okay, yeah, go forward. You don't have to, fulfill the duties of a son. Because most mothers, what they'll say, oh, my son should grow up, become a big man in a big company. Right? And then when I'm old, he should take care of me. Which is very natural. Because mother is raising the kid, it's very natural. But once you are operating on the soul platform, then you say, okay, you are a soul, I am a soul. Let's both serve Krishna.
Right.
So we should, we should come to that platform also. Like, that's the whole goal of Bhagavad Gita, right? So it's not like, because the challenge with most Indians is they will just stop Bhagavad Gita at chapter 3. Oh, look, Krishna said you have to do your duty. I'm doing my duty, that's it. That's the goal of life.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, yeah, working in Microsoft, I'm doing my duty. So that's it. I'm a very good devotee. And then, Arey Baba, that is only chapter 3. What about the other chapters?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we should look at it holistically, right? In English, they call it holistically. It means like completely. Look at it, complete picture, not just one small view and say, okay, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Ussideyur ime lokam
Ustideyur ime loka
nakuryam karma chedaham
Nakuryam
karma
chedaham
chedaham
sankarasya cha kartasyam
Shankarasya
tasyam
kartasyam
upahanyam imah prajaham.
upahanyam imah
prajaha.
This sankarasya means varna sankara, means unwanted population. Unwanted means what? Population is coming, but they don't have the characteristics of being a good human. So those are all unwanted population. So Krishna says, if I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds, remember in the 3 verses ago, he said Trishu Loka, the 3 worlds, the upper worlds, the middle worlds, and the lower worlds. So most people think, oh, only our planet. But think about these 3 levels. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would therefore destroy the peace of all living beings. Okay, Shiva, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Varna Shankara is unwanted population which disturbs the peace of the general society. In order to check this social disturbance, there are prescribed rules and regulations by which the population can automatically become peaceful and organized for spiritual progress in life. When Lord Krishna descends, naturally he deals with such rules and regulations in order to maintain the prestige and necessity of such important performances. The Lord is the father of all living entities. And if the living entities are misguided, indirectly, the responsibility goes to the Lord. Therefore, whenever there is general disregard of regulative principles, the Lord himself descends and corrects the society. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting Govardhan Hill, as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions, but we may not imitate him at any time. Srimad Bhagavatam affirms, Naithat samachera jatu manasapi he aniswara vinasyate acharan maudyat yatha rudro abdi jam isam Ishwaranam vacha satyam tathaivaacharitam kvachit tesam yat sva vacho yuktam buddhi mamstat samachare. One should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and his empowered servants. Their instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their actions. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in imitation of Lord Shiva. We should always consider the position of the Ishwaras, or those who can actually control the movements of the sun and moon, as superior. Without such power, one cannot imitate the Ishwaras, who are super powerful. Lord Shiva drank poison to the extent of swallowing an ocean. But if any common man tries to drink even a fragment of such poison, he will be killed. There are many pseudo devotees of Lord Shiva who want to indulge in smoking ganja, marijuana, and similar intoxicating drugs, forgetting that by so imitating the acts of Lord Shiva, they are calling death very near. Similarly, there are some pseudo devotees of Lord Krishna who prefer to imitate the Lord in his Rasa Leela, or dance of love, forgetting their inability to lift Govardhana Hill. It is best, therefore, that one not try to imitate the powerful, but simply follow their instructions. Nor should one try to occupy their post without qualification. There are so many incarnations of God without the power of the Supreme Godhead.
Yeah. So many people say, I'm the incarnation. Like even on YouTube, there are some YouTube videos where a person is shown, and then on the back, there'll be a picture of Vishnu with Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. And so they are claiming that they themselves are incarnations of God. I've seen this on YouTube. Right? So there are so many people who claim, but can they lift the Govardhan Hill? Like that, right? Can they kill all the demons? No. So we should not imitate. Imitate means copy. You can follow their instructions, but not copy. Right? Shiva drank poison. So, the people say, oh, Shiva smokes ganja, so I can also smoke ganja. Okay. You are copying one part, but then Shiva drank the oceanic poison to save the Devatas and the Danavas during the churning of the ocean. Can you do that? Then that's the question one should ask. If they cannot do that, then they can pretty much call it quits. People cannot do what God does. Even like a powerful Ishvara who is assistant to Krishna, like Shiva. Right? Shiva is partially Vishnu, right? So Vishnu is considered milk, Shiva is considered curd. So Shiva is like Vishnu, but not Vishnu, right? The same tattva is, the same starting point is there, but he is curd. So curd is milk, but at the same time, it is not milk, like that. So Shiva actually comes from Krishna, from the various expansions that we talked about, the first Chaturvyuha expansion, second Chaturvyuha expansion, so on and so forth. So, but we cannot copy them. They are very, very powerful. That's the point. It's said. So, yadyad acharati shreshtas. You can follow their acharan, but you cannot imitate them. So that's why the great people, they follow rules very strictly. Shiva is always meditating on Krishna, the Goloka form of Krishna. His wife asks him, what are you meditating on? I thought you are Ishvara. He says, yes, I am a Ishvara, but I am meditating on Parameshvara, the boss of all Ishvaras. He's called Maheshvara, but he is meditating on Parameshvara. Like that. So, the Lord is Father, and if any of the living entities are misguided, the responsibility goes to the Lord, right? If your son hits some neighbor's son, what will happen? The neighbor's parent will come and yell at you. You are responsible. Although you may say, oh, I didn't do it. Yeah, but you have to train your son properly to behave in society. So therefore, what does the Lord do? Whenever there is disregard of principles, he himself descends to correct this society. Whenever they disregard, the Lord himself descends and corrects this society. That is what an avatar is.
I had a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does that statement connect to, for example, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation? Because those are or is that just because it says when there's a general disregard of regular principles, does that necessarily mean at that time there was? Because
sometimes the Lord descends as an avatar, sometimes he sends some powerful person like Prabhupada to preach the information. It is not necessary that he come every time.
right.
They empower. It's called Shakta Avesha Avatar. So he puts his Shakti into a common individual, like a human. But because his Shakti has been infused in him, that common individual will do uncommon tasks. Like Prabhupada traveled the world 7 times, created 108 temples while he was on the planet.
Right. Yeah.
And then his disciples are continuing the journey like that by building more temples. In this way, yeah, the Lord sometimes comes, sometimes he sends his representative
Right.
to correct. Right now, correction is required. Therefore, Prabhupada is coming and teaching us all these things. Otherwise, most people have no idea, right? Even the so-called Hindus or so-called Christians, they'll just, like Christians, they'll say, oh, just believe in Jesus, everything will be taken care of. That is so cheap, so easy, right? You'll say, yeah, I believe, that's it. So that is very, very cheap.
Yeah.
There has to be some responsibility. You have to follow many, many things properly.
Yeah.
Saktaha karmani abhidvamso
Karmani avidvamso
yata kurvanti bharatam
kurvanti bharata
kuryad vidvams tata saktas
Kurya vidvams tatha saktas.
Chikir Shurloka Sangraham.
Chikshur loka sangraham.
As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for sake of leading people on the right path. So here, very interesting. So basically, the entire world is divided into two sections, according to Krishna. That's it. Ignorant and learned. Ignorant means they are doing their duties, but with attachment result. Yes, I want to have a bank balance. I want to do this, that. My son should go to MIT. But the learned are acting similarly. They're also going to office and so on, but without attachment. For sake of leading these other half of the society on the right path. So a devotee may also work like a common man. A devotee knows that nothing belongs to him, everything belongs to Krishna. One needs to use the benefits he's receiving to serve Krishna. So in one of these ISKCON temples, ISKCON Habibpur or something like that in India, they had a quote. When God gives you more, don't increase the standard of living, but increase the standard of giving. I like that quote very much. So because suddenly, because of your past karma or because of all the yajnas you perform in this life, you'll get wealthy. Wealth is not because you're working hard in office. No. Wealth is because we have done some pious activities, the results are coming. So when the results come, do not increase your standard of living, they're saying. Increase your standard of giving. Means now use that wealth to propagate Krishna consciousness by building more temples, or if you cannot do anything, at least donating to people who are propagating Krishna Bhakti. Right? Like Mataji, you said you want to give 10% of your income for this purpose, right? Last time you mentioned that.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right.
Shiva has matched with the.
Oh, you already matched it?
Yeah. Last week only we did.
Okay, thank you very much. So increase, because of our past karma, we'll get wealth. So whether you like it or not, it will come. So we increase our standard of giving. So we'll give more to Krishna like that. When more wealth arrives at our doorstep. So this section of the learned will also act, but to lead people on the right path. To show them what is the general formula of life. Otherwise, what people think the general formula is, yeah, just go work in a corporation, make some money, watch some TV, send kids to school, go to sleep. Okay, so Aryan, please read purport.
Yes, sir. I said, should I read the purport and then ask my question?
Yeah, go
It
ahead.
was about that quote you said. So by standard of living, doesn't necessarily mean like just like by standard of living, do you mean like you like how much you like
Spend.
your
Yeah, how much you spend, right? Like the other day I was driving and two cars before me, one car before me was a Lamborghini, which cost like
right.
280,000.
Yeah.
Right? Technically, you can go in a Kia, which costs 15,000.
Yeah.
So suddenly, you become very rich. You bought some property and suddenly it appreciated, like we were talking with Srijana. Almost all houses are $2 million now.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden, our wealth has increased. Yeah. So suppose we sell our house. Maybe we have two houses. We go into the smaller house, sell the bigger house. You have, after paying taxes and everything, maybe $1 million profit. With that, you can blow it away. You can buy expensive vehicles, this, that, or you continue your simple way of living and use that money to maybe build a temple in Arlington, for example.
Right. Yeah.
So you have not changed. You are still the same person. You have been given a lot of wealth. So now you use it in Krishna service,
Right. Yeah.
right? So you see all these senior devotees, they will be driving very old cars. They'll be wearing very simple clothes. But when it comes to Krishna, they'll spend $200 for the flowers.
Right. Yeah.
So they could buy a more expensive vehicle for themselves or expensive clothes for themselves, but their clothes will be simple. But for Krishna, they will spend more.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, read the purport.
A person in Krishna consciousness and a person not in Krishna consciousness are differentiated by different desires. A Krishna consciousness person does not do anything which is not conductive to development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act exactly like the ignorant person who is too much attached to material activities, but one is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his sense gratification, whereas the other is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness person is required to show the people how to act and how to engage the results of action for the purpose of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So we are supposed to be Krishna conscious people. We should show other people how to act and engage results of action. Result of action means what? When we get salary, money for our office work, how do we use that money in Krishna service? That's a result, right? Result of working hard. Every day, 8 to 10 hours, we work for our office. But then when the money comes, how do we use it? And that's why you see, even the US government, they give deductions. When you donate to charity, you don't pay tax on that portion. So even the government realizes that, oh, this person is sacrificing his salary for charity. Therefore, let's not tax him. That's what's called a deduction in the annual taxes that we'll file next month. So we have to engage the results of our action, which is money. Mainly money, right? I mean, engage results of action. How we serve Krishna with the money that we earn. And if you may not be able to do everything, you may say, oh, I have all these things I have to save for my children's education, whatever the case might be. But then there is something left that can be engaged in the Krishna service. So there are some devotees, like single devotees, during Prabhupada's time, they would stay in the temple, go work, and they'll say, okay, anyhow, temple is feeding me. So they'll give almost all of their salary to the temple only. So that's one other model. Or give the money to temple, or just work for the temple, or work for the movement, like Mahotsaha, only just distributing books or something. But if you have a family, you need a house separately. So have a house separately. But then don't have such a big house that your electricity bill will be like $500 a month. Small house means everything is economical, right? So maybe you only spend $100 a month in electricity. So that is what. Don't increase the standard of living, but increase the standard of giving. Like Warren Buffett, although he's not a devotee, he still lives in his 1968 home. And he gave billions of dollars to this fund, Bill and Melinda Gates Fund. Of course, he doesn't know who Krishna is or anything. He's doing according to his level. He doesn't have that higher understanding. So you have to engage the results for purpose of Krishna consciousness to awaken others, basically. Okay, any questions on that one? Okay, something to think about.